welcome back to High Point again. Today in this video we are going to learn about Edmund Spenser. So we have already have seen in detail about the Elizabethan age after which comes after the age of revival. So we have seen many things, many details related to authors and works related to the age of revival. Now we will see one by one the major authors and dramatists, poets belong to the age of Elizabeth and their major works we will individually deal with. So, yeah, this video is about Edmund Spenser. We all love him as a great poet and critic of the age of Elizabeth of English literature. See, we remember him for his major uh, uh, sonnet sequences as well as for Faerie Queen, the great work that he has composed, and also many other works, Prothelemia, Epithalamium. Most of you have learned those poems in your MA or PG classes. So let's begin. So don't skip the video. We will be looking at Edmund Spenser, his life, major events that happened throughout his life from birth to death, and as well as his career, and about his major, about especially about uh, Prothelemia will be having yet another individual video. I'll be mentioning it in this video as well. So before beginning the video, let me tell about my website www.highpoint.in. You can visit the website for more study materials for UGC NET English language and literature. You will get more than 900 audio lectures spreaded under various topics and modules and chapters, and also 300 plus downloadable PDF materials prepared by our experts, and also uh, more than 3,000 questions for you to practice upon, and previous practice question paper which you can attempt live in the website and know your progress instantly. Isn't that great? Go and check out the website, and always enjoy studying literature. So more than that, you can also join a WhatsApp group if you want. I have given the link to join the WhatsApp group in the description box. Go check the description box. There you will find the link, and you can click the link and join the WhatsApp group, in which you will find the daily quizzes, study materials, and notes related to UGC Net English. You can follow me in WhatsApp. You can follow me in Instagram as well as Facebook too. So let's begin about Edmund Spenser. Edmund Spenser lived from the year 1552 to 1599. So do remember that he died in the year 1599. So from the beginning of the Elizabethan age roughly starts from 1550, right? We all know that. So he was born in the year 1552 and he died in the year 1599. So that was Edmund Spenser's lifespan. Now let's see what happened throughout his life. What was the tremendous events happened throughout his life? And he was born at East Smithfield. So he born in a place known as East Smithfield, London, to John Spenser, a cloth maker. So his father was a cloth maker, and the place that he was born was in East Smithfield. His father's name was John Spenser, and after his BA and MA he left to Cambridge for Kent. So he studied, he had done his MA and BA and MA in Cambridge, and after that he left Cambridge for Kent. Kent is a place there in Britain, and he left for Kent. And in Kent he acted as secretary to John Dr. John Young, and who was a former master of Pembroke College and newly appointed Bishop of Rochester. So he acted as in Kent. He went for Kent right after finishing his BA and MA in Cambridge. So in Kent he acted as a secretary to whom? Dr. John Young. Dr. John Young was a former master of Pembroke College and newly appointed Bishop of Rochester. And while he was in Ireland, he met with Elizabeth Boyle. Okay, he went to Ireland after that, and he met with Elizabeth Boyle, and he wrote Amoretti to win her hand. So he wooed her, courted her, and he wrote Amoretti. Amoretti is a sonnet sequence. We could find many sonnets in Amity, and he wrote Amity. Edmund Spenser wrote Amity to win Elizabeth Boyle's hand. And eventually, in 1594, he got married to her. So Elizabeth Boyle and Edmund Spenser got married eventually in the year 1594. After winning her hand, and he died in 1599 and buried in Westminster Abbey. So Westminster Abbey, we all know that Westminster Abbey, in that graveyard there is a corner for the poets, or literary persons as such. So he was buried there in Westminster Abbey in the year after his death in 1599. So Ben Jonson told about or commented about Edmund Spenser as Spenser writ no language. Spenserate no language means his language that he is using to compose his works. It is not a dialect actually. It is not any type of dialect Edmund Spenser didn't use. So that's why Ben Jonson particularly tells like this: Spenser writ no language. And Dryden once commented about Edmund Spenser like this: Spenser, the poetic son of Chaucer. So who called Edmund Spenser as the poetic son of Chaucer? It was Dryden. Dryden belongs to which age? Dryden belongs to the age of Restoration, and Ben Jonson belongs to Jacobean age, or the end part of the Elizabethan age, we could say. So Ben Jonson said about Edmund Spenser as Spenser writ no language, and Dryden says that Spenser, the poetic son of Chaucer. So Dryden called Spenser as the poetic son of Chaucer. Okay, do remember these little quotes and comments made by eminent people. Now, and he earned the title the English Virgil for his The Faerie Queen. Okay, so he has written an epic work. It was a very ambitious work by Edmund Spenser, The Faerie Queen. Its plan was enormous, but he could not complete it. So, for creating a work known as The Faerie Queen, he earned the title. He got the title. Edmund Spenser got the title the English Virgil for his uh, eminent and most ambitious work, The Faerie Queen. So, what is the inscription on his tomb, or epitaph on his tomb? The Prince of Poets in his time. So, this particular line is the inscription or epitaph that we could find on his tomb in Westminster Abbey. The Prince of Poets in his time. And Charles Lamb belongs to the Romantic age. He was a great essayist of the time, and Charles Lamb calls him the poet's poet. Calls him means calls Spenser as the poet's poet. So he earned many titles, many people, many literary persons called him or addressed him many ways. Charles Lamb called him the poet's poet, and he earned the title English Virgil. And here we could see that Dryden calls him the poetic son of Chaucer, and Ben Jonson also said about his style of writing and language as Spenser writ no language. So remember these people who made such comments about Spenser. And Keats wrote his Eve of Saint Agnes in Spenserian stanza. So Spenser invented a stanza form known as Spenserian stanza. It's a particular stanza form that Spenser wrote his works. So John Keats is a second generation romantic poet, and John Keats wrote his Eve of Saint Agnes in Spenserian stanza. Do remember that point too. Now let's see some points related to his major works. Chronologically, I have arranged all these works, and if you could take down the notes, then that will be fabulous. That will be great. Then that will also help you to remember more. Okay, so I have given every other details. I have not gone into detail about in deep into each and every work, because that will be very tedious, as well as it will be very long then. But whatever important I find, I have given individual videos as well, so that we will see as we go further. So his major work, the first major work by Edmund Spenser is the Shepherd's Calendar. So we all are familiar with this work, the Shepherd's Calendar, which he published in the year 1579. So first his major work, first Chaucer's first work is the Shepherd's Calendar, which came out in the year 1579. So this was his first publicly released poetic work. Okay, please remember this this point, which was Spenser's first publicly released poetic work, which was The Shepherd's Calendar, and it was dedicated to Philip Sidney. Philip Sidney is another contemporary poet critic of the Elizabethan age, or contemporary poet of Spenser. So this particular work, The Shepherd's Calendar, is dedicated to Philip Sidney, and he imitated Virgil while he was composing the shepherd's calendar. So that he mainly imitated Virgil. That's why when he wrote after his composition of the Faerie Queen, he earned the title the English Virgil. So he composed the shepherd's calendar in imitation of Virgil, and it consists of series of eclogues. Okay, eclogues, it's a kind of pastoral short poetry. So the shepherd's calendar consists of series of eclogues in which various characters in the guise of innocent and simple shepherds discuss life and love, formulating weighty and often satirical opinions on questions of the day. So mainly what is happening, so various characters are coming and going, and these characters are in guise of innocent and simple shepherds. So all these characters are disguised as innocent and simple shepherds and discuss about life matters, philosophy of life, love, and they also make some very heavy as well as satirical comments and opinions about the day-to-day things or the general things happening in that time. So such a discussion we could see in the series of eclogues that we could find in the work The Shepherd's Calendar. And we can see 12 eclogues corresponds to 12 months of English calendar. Okay, we have 12 eclogues there, and these 12 eclogues correspond to 12 months of English calendar. Each eclogue correspond a month in English calendar. So that is the plan of Shepherd's Calendar. So please remember that this is the first publicly released poetic work by Edmund Spenser, and it is dedicated to Philip Sidney, and he composed this in imitation of Virgil, and it consists of series of eclogues. 12 eclogues corresponds to 12 months of English calendar. So and this is the, so they discuss about the shepherds in the characters in guise of, or in disguise of innocent and simple shepherd. They discuss mainly about day-to-day things, life, love, and satirical opinion. They also passed some satirical opinions of the current time as well. Now, moving on, the second work is the Faerie Queen. So for composing this work, he earned the title the English Virgil. Okay, remember that. So Faerie Queen, he composed it from 1590 to 1596, and he offered this work to Queen Elizabeth and expected a place in her court. So he mainly composed this work to give Queen Elizabeth or sing in the court of Queen Elizabeth, and he expected a place in her court as well for composing Faerie Queen. And but the Queen awarded him 100 euros. Okay, so for composing this, he awarded Queen awarded him 100 euros, but he got ire of Lord Burghley as he was lampooned in the text of Mother Hubbard's tale. This prevented this promised amount of money. So what happened? Even though the Queen awarded him 100 euros for composing the Faerie Queen, he got ire. He got the anger of Lord Burghley. Okay, Lord Burghley got anger, because Lord Burghley was lampooned or ridiculed in a text known as Mother Hubbard's tale. So Mother Hubbard's tale, Lord Burghley got lampooned. So he got angry with Edmund Spenser for it, and he discussed with the Queen about it, and the Queen withdrew the 100 euros that she offered to Edmund Spenser for composing the Faerie Queen as a reward. So this area of Lord Burghley prevented his promised amount of money. So as a result, as he got angry faces from all over the side, and he went to Ireland as a result. So after composing, after this incident with the Lord Burghley, he left England and he went to Ireland. Okay, and Ireland, we could see that he met with Elizabeth Boyle. So next work is Amoreti. Amoreti was published in the year 1595, and he wrote it to win the hand of Elizabeth Boyle that we all have already seen. So eventually, Edmund Spenser and Elizabeth Boyle got married in married in 1595. So in order to win her hand and favor of Elizabeth Boyle and to marry her, uh, he wrote this sonnet sequence known as Amoretti in the year 1595. And Epithalamion also he composed in 1595. This their marriage song. So Elizabeth Boyle and Edmund Spenser eventually got married in the same year. So as a marriage song dedicated to Elizabeth Boyle and as a gift to Elizabeth Boyle, his new bride, he composed Epithalamion in the year 1595. And next work by Edmund Spenser is Astrophel. Astrophel he composed in 1595 again. It's a pastoral elegy upon the death of Philip Sidney. See, he dedicated the Shepherd's Calendar to Sir Philip Sidney, a contemporary poet, and also he has written an elegy upon the death of Sir Philip Sidney, which is known as Astrophel in the year 1595. So do remember these things, okay? Elegy about Sir Philip Sidney is Astrophel, and dedicated to Philip Sidney is the Shepherd's Calendar. And the next work is Prothelemia. We will deal with it in detail in another video about Prothelemia. Prothelemia was published in the year 1596. It's again a marriage song. Prothelemia is also a marriage song. And the next work is A View of the Present State of Ireland, composed in the, or published in the year 1596. It's a pamphlet written from the standpoint of the Anglo-Irish Chronicles. Okay, a view of the present state of Ireland, a pamphlet written from the standpoint of the Anglo-Irish Chronicle. It's a pamphlet. And it argued that Ireland would never be totally pacified by the English until its indigenous language and customs had been destroyed, if necessary, by violence. So he says that England is always enacting its power over Ireland. We could see enormous amount of pamphlets written, especially during and the neoclassical age. The writers like Swift and all, he has written many pamphlets to address these kind of issues related to Ireland and England enacting its power over Ireland. And so he argues that Ireland cannot fully never be pacified, never be conquered until it has its own indigenous language and customs. Until we destroy their indigenous, their vernacular language and customs, England cannot fully cannot pacify Ireland, if necessary by violence, or without violence or with violence. If it is not get destroyed, the indigenous language and customs do not get destroyed, then it is very difficult for England to pacify Ireland fully. So that's why he argued there in A View of the Present State of Ireland in the year 1596. Now let's see in detail about the Faerie Queen, okay? Faerie Queen, he composed Faerie Queen from the year 1590 to 1596. It's an incomplete English epic and an allegorical poem by Edmund Spenser. So this is an unfinished English epic poem. And it's an allegorical poem. Allegorical poem means each of a character, their names, everything is representing an abstract idea or a quality or an event that is happening outside the work. So, there will be, surface meaning as well as a deep meaning as well. So it's an incomplete English epic as well as an allegorical poem by Edmund Spenser. 1519, he published the first three books, and in 1596 the next three books. So totally he could only publish six books, and the first three books got published in the year 1590, and in 1596 the next three books also got published. Originally he planned 24 books. Okay, so that's why I already told you Faerie Queen was an ambitious work by Edmund Spenser, but he could only finish six books out of the 24 books that he planned. So he originally planned 24 books but could only complete six. And the immediate model of the work is Ariosto's Orlando Furioso. So the immediate model of the work is, so he modeled this work upon Ariosto's Orlando Furioso. Do remember this, even though for this he is known as for Faerie Queen, he earned the name the English Virgil. He modeled this particular work upon Ariosto's Orlando Furioso. Do remember this, okay? The book contains a preface, which is actually a letter written by Spenser to Walter Raleigh. Okay, so Raleigh and Edmund Spenser, these two are friends, and the book contains Faerie Queen has a preface, but this preface is actually a letter written by Spenser to Walter. So it tells about the plan of the book. So in this letter, Spenser elaborates about the plan of the book as he is going to compose 24 books titled as the Faerie Queen, and 12 will be 12 based each on a different night. So 24 is divided into 12, and 24 will be and 12 will be based on each different knight who exemplifies 12 private virtues and 12 public virtues. Okay, so 12 knights will be there in each 12 works. I mean each 12 books, and these knights, they will exemplify 12 private virtues, and 12 more will be there. So 12 from 24, he planned 24 books. So among that 24 books, 12 will be dealing with 12 different knights, displaying 12 private virtues. And 12 more are there. And they are centered upon King Arthur, displaying 12 public virtues. Okay, that was a plan of Spenser's Faerie Queen. So that he explains in that letter, which he used as a preface to this work. And Spenser says in his preface that the poem is supposed to be a courtesy book. So he addressed this work, this Faerie Queen, as a courtesy book. Spenser says in this preface, along with the plan of the work, he also addresses this work, Faerie Queen, as a courtesy book. And he wanted to teach his learned readers that virtues of the perfect gentleman through its moral, religious, and political, historical allegories behind the delightful romantic story. So there is a storyline going on. So with that, through that, he want to teach his learned readers about the virtues and moral and religious and political historical values, and moral and religious values that a perfect gentleman will hold. So he want to teach that, he want to instruct, and he want to have his readers these virtues as well, that he describes throughout the delightful romantic story, in which political and historical and social events are allegorically represented. And it tells the story of several knights, each representing a particular virtue. So like I said, there will be several knights. So in these 6 books there will be 6 knights, and these 6 knights will represent a particular virtue, and they are in quest for Faerie Queen Gloriana. So each of these knights, they are in a quest, they are in search of, they are making travels to meet, and they are in quest, they are searching for Queen Gloriana, or Faerie Queen Gloriana. The title character's name is Gloriana. Okay, now let's see. For your own convenience, I have given a chart here, or I have given a table here. So in book 1, we will find a Red Cross Knight. So I have seen many questions about a Red Cross Knight, and he holds the virtue holiness. Okay, so in book 1 we have the Red Cross Knight, and Red Cross Knight has the virtue holiness. And book 2nd, Sir Gayon. Sir Gayon, virtue is temperance. Okay, book 2nd, Sir Gayon, virtue is temperance. And in book 3 we could find the knight Virgin Britomart, and the virtue that he holds is charity. Okay, do remember Red Cross in the book 1, holiness, holds the virtue holiness, and in book 3, Sir Guyon, he holds temperance, and in book 3, Virgin Britomart, and he has charity as the main virtue. And in book 4, we have Campbell and Telemont. Campbell and Telemann, they have the virtue male friendship, or they display the virtue male friendship. And in book 5, the knight's name is Sir Artegall. Sir Artegall, and he displays the virtue justice. And in book 6, Sir Calidare. Sir Calidare displays the virtue courtesy. So he, even though he planned 24 books, he could only finish 6 out of them. And we can see that in the first book, Red Cross Knight, Holiness. Sir Guion displays temperance. Then Virgin Batomat, Charity. Campbell and Telemann in the book 4 displays male friendship. In book 5, Sir Artegall displays justice. And book 6, Sir Calidare displaying courtesy. So these are the knights and their virtue that we could see from book 1 to book 6. Now, Spenser originated a 9-line verse stanza, now known as Spenserian stanza. I already told you Spenser invented a stanza form known as Spenserian stanza, which has 9-line verse stanza. So Spenserian stanza contains 9 lines. It's a 9-line verse stanza. The first 8 line are iambic pentameter. So this is how the meter of this 9-lined verse stanza goes. The first 8 lines are in iambic pentameter, and the 9 in iambic hexameter. Okay, so this is the structure or the meter of this 9-line verse stanza known as Spenserian stanza. The 8 lines are in iambic pentameter, and the 9th line or the last line of the stanza will be in iambic hexameter. So that is the meter structure of Spenserian stanza. Do remember, Spenserian stanza contains 9 line verse stanza, and the first 8 lines are in iambic pentameter, and the 9th line in iambic hexameter in Spenserian stanza. Do remember that. So when you hear too much things related to many kind of stanzas, there will be a confusion, but do remember about Spenserian stanza. The rhyme scheme of Spenserian stanza is A B A B B C B C C. So A B A B B C B C C. So this is the rhyme scheme of Spenserian stanza. So that's all about Faerie Queen as well as the major Elizabethan poet Edmund Spenser. And this was a very short video about Edmund Spenser. I hope I have shared some details about him which are relevant for you for your UGC Net English or your studies about literature as well. So yeah, that's all about it. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and comment whatever doubts, suggestion and queries that you have. And if you want to make any other contents related to UGC Net English language and literature, do that mention in the comment section as well. You can find me in these platforms. Do go and visit my website at www.highpoint.in, and you can WhatsApp or call in the number given in the screen for any other doubts, not only about the website, not only about the UGC Net English and English language and literature, but to know generally about literature. If you want further details related to a particular topic that you are studying for your UGC Net JRF, or in your PG classes, if you want more details and more contents and more study materials related to it, then you can obviously call or WhatsApp or message me in the number, or you can mail me in the given mail address as well. And you can obviously join in the WhatsApp group, and the link to join the WhatsApp group that I have given in the description box. Go and check it and click it and join. And if you want, there you will get daily quizzes and also things and details and notes and capsules, information related to English language and literature. You can make a call or WhatsApp message if you have any other queries, and if you need any other help from my part, I'll be very glad to serve you and enjoy studying literature and move further more towards your UGC Net JRF goals as well. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and so share this video to your friends and family, those who are in need of such videos as well as so that's all about it. So let me meet you in the next video session. Until then, bye bye. Thank you.